Welcome back, everyone. What a chaotic first half to the first map of the series. Oh my, I mean, look, we can break it down so much, Ash, but you said it in the green room yourself. There was a lot of conditioning and a lot of different setups that we saw from both of these teams. So let's untangle that web a little bit as we look at the replays. What exactly made OR tick just a little bit more than Mad Lions?
Honestly, it's with the shift over towards the offense into the second half, right? I think we saw Blackheart have a lot of value on the side of Mad Lions with those 0 points as that KO player initially when they were attacking, but swapping over to the defense, OR Esports did really well to either wait for the timing or beat the timing of those 0 points, which are huge factors in just slowing down those execs.
I like that. And speaking of the timing too, Mr. Upmine, we did get to see this kind of duality between both Narrate and Trick, but also on the other side, Zeldris and Jonah were just really dictating a lot of the pacing of these rounds and who would end up winning.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Zeldris, Jonah, and Pancakes, I think for sure. If you're looking over towards Jonah 6, he ended up having 8 assists in just the second half alone. While Pancakes, he had his effect throughout the entire map. He ended up having 10 assists throughout the whole map. But of course, Zeldris was able to take advantage of all of these setups realistically throughout both halves. And that was the big thing that we were asking here of OR. Were they going to be able to help out Zeldris? I was more or less maybe even wondering if the initiators were going to kind of change up the fact that, again, they would want to group around their jet. They would want to make their attack half seem a little bit more aggressive. But even with the slower look, we still ended up seeing in OR Esports that overwhelmed Mad Lions. Most of the rounds for Mad Lions were lost already within the first 20 to 30 seconds.
Absolutely, and again, I think that plays into what Ash was saying about how these rounds were dictated so much. Well, I don't want to say randomly, it takes away from the players, but we saw a lot of just versatility in strategies and individual plays.
Well, I mean, it was a lot of scrappy plays for some of those rounds, especially going into the plant situation, considering the fact that at least with OR, when they're on the defense, they like to put a lot of early pressure onto the plant to either deny it or to make you super uncomfortable if you're Mad Lions in not even being able to set up for those post-plant positionings, and it came down to who was thriving more in the chaos.
Yeah, and again, we'll keep talking about that composition until the end of our days, but as long as OR is winning, sure, we won't complain that much. But only having the Omen kind of did affect them to an extent where, again, they had to make every smoke count. They had to make every second count on those retakes. And again, that pace overwhelmed Mad Lions. OR Esports were able to actually make that playstyle work.
And it's only going to get more and more complex from here. I mean, it's not often that we get to say Pearl's the more traditional of the maps that we get to have in the vetoes. The next 2 maps that we have, Ash, are going to be a little more different. I think the controller U2 that Gus just mentioned is just going to be so exponentially more complicated.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting heading over towards Lotus, especially if we see some more off-meta picks coming out here for Lotus in particular. However, luckily for Pancakes, I feel like the Omen is really nice for C control here on Lotus, so looking forward to seeing how he does manage to use that aggression and the ability to just get out with cover with the Shrouded Step. But overall, it's going to be a very similar story to Pearl, even more so if we go even to that 3rd map on Fracture, about the push and pull, because on these maps, it's all about control. You can't really just rely on information that you're getting from your utility because of how fast-paced even rotations can come out from the Lotus map in general. With those rotating doors, with the broken door, it's very different from Haven, despite also being a 3-sided map, because of the fact that you really can just blitz or rotate over and overwhelm either the attackers or get behind the defenders in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, this should be another one of those maps where the early combinations for the defense are going to come up huge. Watch out for Ange, watch out for Blackheart, watch out for Narrate. That is an Omen, a Sky, and a Neon combo potentially. That has a lot of stun potential. That has a lot of trap potential. That if Mad have their pre-setups ready, as they did against a team like the Guard, by the way, who ended up on this map 13-10, they certainly have a chance.
Look, if there's anything I learned from yesterday when we saw Lotus is that we saw a lot of impact with Vipers rocking the Odin. What's the likelihood, Amai, that you think we're going to see that again?
Maybe. Okay, hold on. Rossi.
1%?
We had our criticisms of Rossi. We got shut up immediately yesterday, so I'm not gonna try to overstretch it. But Trick, let's keep things traditional, I say. But Bjor, I completely trust with it. Anyone who's going to be that solo defender, and of course, it can be a Viper. The Viper on this map can be considered an anchor. So yeah, why not? I actually do see it, although it may be a little bit creative and a little bit out there. But that's what we need from both of these teams anyways. It's the last possible map in their 2023 series. So why not pull everything that you got in your strap book?
I mean, we're coming close to the end of the line, Ash, for Mad Lion's side. It's now or never for the team. They have to make this work right now on a map that's not only brand new, well, relatively speaking, now to Valorant, but the meta is still developing. Is there a chance, an iota of an idea, that we could start deviate away from the comfort picks of these players?
I don't know, because when you're looking over at OR, they haven't swapped up their composition at all on Lotus thus far from what they've played. So it's been a pretty standard comp. We are missing the breach on both sides, at least historically from what we've seen, which is usually a big enabler for a race player. But that's not really a concern with Mad Lions, considering the fact that Nere, if he does go back towards the Neon, that we are familiar with seeing him on Lotus in particular, he's able to set up for himself with those relay bolts.
Absolutely. And, you know, I'm going to ask a small little question to you two right now. Do you think, I'm going to start with mine, do you think we're going to see a map 3?
God, putting me on the spot, man.
Now, it's do or die for both of these teams still. Even if OR has a map ahead, anything could happen right now.
Man, I say, why not? I say, why not have a chance? We've seen good looks from both of these teams throughout this split. We've seen very high highs. We've seen very low lows. We've seen OR Esports go down 6-13 to Turtle Troop of all teams on this map, and then go 13-4 against G2, again, of all teams on this map. While you look over towards the side of Mad Lions, again, very confident showings against a team like the Guard, but also faltering against a team like Moist Moguls. It's a battle where both teams have very similar odds potentially, so why not just get the most competitive look?
Yeah, it's down to this. Potentially the final match we could see for relegation here, Ash. Good luck with your prediction, whether you want to say it or not by now. We're getting the agents locked in, and this could very well be it. Good luck, you two.
Thank you, Keg. Just wanted to let you get your last word in, but overall for the script, I'd love to see a third map, but we aren't really going to see too much of a shift in these compositions, exactly what we would expect coming out from both teams overall. I think what's interesting, though, with OR is that, sure, Physic is there to set up for Zeldris. It's just not as potent of trap plays that you would normally see if there was maybe a fade or a breach in line instead.
Yesterday here on Lotus, we did not see the best of looks here for OR on their defensive side. The attacking side needs to be a sharp start. I mean, yesterday we ended up getting that sort of start from players like Zeldris. Why not see it again? This could again potentially be the final map of relegation, the final map for one of these two teams. Well, just for Mad Lions actually. But here we go. Mad Lions. They're going to be facing an overwhelming B take, to say the very least. One that they're not going to contest.
It's a very quiet contact push up from Mad Lions as well, outside of C, right? Bjor just looks to fall back up top there, and you've got the flank already impending.
Ooh, this is going to be a good spot here for Pancakes. Staying solid, not only that, but a smoke on top of the turret. Surely they expect the flank. Pancakes is going to come up from behind. It's going to be 3 players, and Jonas 6 is locking them here. This is perfect here for Pancakes, and Nere even anticipated it, but he still goes down. OR have 2 players locked into mid, just with one singular molly. And Mad Lions, it's a disaster to say the least. Trick has no chance. OR, as clean as you can get.
Really nicely done. Pancakes with so much patience there, with that lurk towards the A side as well, just waiting for the call coming out from the remainder of the OR players. Very quick pistol round to start things off. I like the idea of that quiet contact flank up. It was just A little bit of neglect towards the potential of presence on that A side, considering there wasn't any util to clear out that choke point either coming out from Mad on the defense. And it's a stack now towards that C side once again. Spike leaning this way this time around, and OR play patient, maybe anticipating that aggression.
We see yet another look. Aggression again here from Mad Lions. This time with a bit of util. As a flash does come out midway. It's only worth it for 1 kill, but again, that's all you can really look out for. You're in the eco of Mad. Here on this map, we're looking at a rare look, actually. Here in this split, or here in Valorant in general, the Neon getting pulled out. It's only the 3rd player in the entirety of Split 2 to be able to do so. Again, looking for those sharp options on the defensive side. You know, whenever OR get that spike down, that BTL, all that util to be able to come out, or really any other early round interaction, can be very overwhelming if Mad do have that combination.
Full rotation we called here. Very safe plants actually coming out from OR as well. So the close range weapons here into the anti-eco, not actually looking to play back in towards Mound at the risk of that backstab.
Should be a cleanup. Bulldog close range. They don't actually catch anything. This pistol and air raid dangerously close. But it is the cleanup that we expected. Let's move on here. Mad Lions already need to get a bit of a head start here. The win percentage for the defensive side here for this team on Lotus, only 22%.
I mean, Lotus is touted as that attacker-sided map, right? Despite all those fast rotations, enabled by those fast rotations as well, depending on what lens you want to look at it from. And there comes the Odin that Keg was asking us about in the pre-show as well.
Man.
Yeah, Trick's gonna pull that one out.
Called the Viper, specifically pulling it out. All right, Trick, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Up mine's ready.
As I said, you could have the Viper as an anchor, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's actually trying to break open the door for Bjorn. That actually works out for a kill into Physic. That was amazing. That works out at least, as Bjorn is able to back out immediately. Good exit plan, good preset strat from Mad Lions with the Odin. Color me shocked. Here comes Zeldris over in the mid side, alone picking up Blackheart. That's actually a solo clear of B.
Yeah, now Spike still leaning towards this A side. Pancakes is alone, and Trick's just gonna push right back on through Narrate, trying to land those relay bolts. Not able to, and Nilly looking to reclaim the spike in hand. Look at the positioning of Zeldris, though.
50 seconds left in the round. What is this call out from Bjorn? Bjorn actually looks behind right as he slips back.
Down A.
Now Zeldris has been discovered. 35 seconds left in the round. It's a marathon here for Zeldris. It gets cut off at the starting line. Mad Lions, okay. All right, I like it. I like what they're cooking.
Yeah, or pretty disconnected into that round as well. Sure, it was the bonus and whatnot, but really stuck in situations where trades are not going to come through. And on a bonus round, you do usually want to be paying those numbers a little bit more, getting the most out of the eco weapons, but Mad now. First round onto the board. We're seeing the impact already from that Odin, and OR very split default. Passive watch towards that B side, and here comes the speed.
Oh, there goes Nary. Able to set up one. The Sky Flash right behind him, and Ange with the smoke right in their face. There goes the combo that I mentioned. Narrate is able to step up to the plate, and Pancakes is actually down to 36 HP. And BR knocks them all down through the smoke with the Nanoswarm. Oh my goodness. Mad Lions. Just last round they got onto the guns, but it's looked absolutely flawless.
Really, really nice pivots ever since the first 2 rounds. OR now looking for some sort of answer. When you look at their money situation, on the brink of a bust, to be honest, and they're gonna semi-eco slash just full-on semi-force up overall. This is risky.
Pretty much.
This
It is
so
pretty much a
risky.
force.
Like, you've got to consider the long-term economy into this matchup. Everything considered. OR, sure, you might be up one map, but you want everything to be as careful as possible, to be as calculated as you possibly can have it.
OR have done it before. Again, we just went through a map where one round separated OR essentially from 8-4 score lines. So even if OR do end up slipping away a little bit at this attacking side, and it isn't without that history here for OR. But here they go, stepping up early on in the round. Trick already getting overwhelmed, holding on to the Odin, but he can just spray through this half wall. You're doing the same here.
That's
spraying through the smoke, taking down Jonah 6. Again, that's just the one, but that chips away the attack of OR with a very important piece of utility there from Jonah 6. And now Trick is here, spraying away at sight. Nobody on sight. And Ainge picking up the lurk too. The win condition there from OR is gone. Now Pancakes and Zeldris now just witness the swarm of lions in their way. And a knife to the back. A sting for the bee from above. Just some disrespect here from Mad as they're making this defensive side really look flawless.
What I don't understand, though, is why you don't pull the trigger on the Seekers on the side of Physic there into the post plant. You're already down 4 to 5. You need the extra information to bolster your read on the other team. Instead, it's just the dry peaks to come through in towards defender's spawn, using your bodies, and Mad, they just have all these opportunities to swarm around you, bolster up their ultimates as well. I feel like, I'm pretty sure that's 3 online now for the side of Mad Lions, and forces a timeout from OR. They haven't gotten anything since those first 2 rounds.
We haven't seen any sort of overwhelming look from this team either. I mean, they've been able to take some of their early extremities relatively easily, except for over on Mound. Mad are putting up pretty much a conditioning look over on that Mad side, where OR, every time they've at least attempted at a peak there, it's been some sort of contact from the Mad Lions side. But it's that proactivity that we were really looking out for relatively both of these teams. But Mad Lions, one thing going into today that I really praised them for coming out of yesterday were their preset strategies, were potentially their preset traps. We did already see one of them now. Not too many back there on Pearl. But here on Lotus, it's a bit more of a controlled map per se in terms of the choke points, in terms of the flow.
A lot of ultimates to work with here. OR, they stretched their money enough to actually be able to buy into this round as well with that half buy. It didn't initially look like it was going to be feasible, but I guess everything balances out on the sheet anyways. But look at the off angle. You've got Narrate holding it, and then Trick's just there to follow up.
Down B.
It might actually work out to hold the spike. Physic goes down, but oh my goodness, Blackheart! He's gone. Great trade from Ainge though. A necessary one at that. Ainge holding on to control here of the A site, being in that position. A lucky position at that. If no one was there, that this A site control would just be established. Players would go up tree instead. And now Jonas X. He has no chance of supporting his teammate. Of his teammates at all for the rest of this round. As now the last 2 players from OR completely disconnected from that isolated kill.
I mean, this is just a save situation. It's 40 seconds left, sure. He's still gonna go for that peak. Does a little bit of damage, but the way that Zeldris is posturing over towards the C site, he might still look for that plant. Some util wasted. He's pushing in with the spike right now. They don't have the money for this.
They really don't. Again, we keep talking about a long span here. The long run here for OR.
10 seconds left.
That's definitely going to help the long run. At least some sort of win condition going forward. That was expected. Nelias could have gone down there. We could have just seen the eco with a lockdown instead this round, and we still could see it. And steps up. Unable to get the kill. But oh my goodness. Again, a 4th round where no more than 2 players for Mad go down.
No, but there's snowball rounds impending for both of these teams. Mad 4 rounds in a row, haven't actually needed to really expend any of those ultimates to facilitate these wins for them. Instead, it's just been coordinated swings and plays coming out on top mechanically in that sense. And OR looking a little bit disjointed here on the attack, not really having super set plans, more so like poking and prodding across the map, seeing what they can find.
They do it again, Ainge. This time, only alongside Blackheart. They do not have Narrate here to try to help out the C-hold. They're anticipating potentially a B wrap, which isn't going to happen. Sky might be locked here a little bit, not able to actually utilize any utility over towards the C-long area. It's Ainge now essentially isolated. Blackheart needs to go back.
Yeah,
There's a
this
splash.
is scary.
Oh my god!
No way! He still gets it?
Spike down.
He makes it a nightmare. He just jumps on in with a paranoia. Blackheart needing to back out immediately. Same thing with Bjor. This lockdown is so deep in.
Oh, now that's the Viper's Pit popped as well here. And now Zelda's everything is going into this round.
What? How did nobody die from that? I thought at least one would go down there.
I think they ran
Still
past
man
it.
advantage here from OR, finally with a Viper's Pit. But Nary looking to burst things through. Has the overdrive ready and raring to go. With a blind in their face, with a smoke in their face, they can't do anything about it. Nilia still has the Nano Swarm on site and able to get one out of it. Zeldris doing the same. Finally, a round here coming out from OR on a gun round. And again, they made it look easy for themselves just with that Viper's Pit.
All those ults expended though. The snowball round that was expected to come through. Now that means OR only have the Seekers to work with, and Mad, they've got a lockdown, and OR don't really have anything to respond to that given the situation. But slowly getting that money situation a little bit closer, pretty much even across the board as far as those funds go, as OR, you wouldn't necessarily expect that with how Mad have gotten those 4 rounds in a row earlier on. Little creep up.
Narrate's gonna watch it. Narrate's gonna get the first contact here.
No one can play off him though.
Not at all. How can he back up here? Oh my goodness! The expectation was to get one and back out. Of course, falls far short of those expectations is now Mad Lions. The first time in a while. Drop the first pick. And actually, B site is still being fought for. I thought Mad Lions would still say disconnected off of this one. But what a shutdown of the lockdown. An immediate one at that coming in from OR Esports. And now they need to fight Physic. It does come back with a kill. Man advantage still in the hands of OR Esports.
Oh, things are about to get chaotic here on towards site. Jonas 6 with a cheeky position here on towards Cubby. Now it's a question of and clears him out.
Oh, Jonas 6 takes him out easily. And the rest of OR Esports are going to stand pretty firm on this site. Ainge does play the 50-50 with the smoke. Nobody peeks him. Nobody crossfiring him either. But he still misses out on the first pick possible. OR Esports, after getting dumped, have themselves now 2 dominant rounds.
Right off the back of an impactful timeout, if you say anything about that at the very least. The shift in gears here for OR. I think they're struggling a little bit with how, honestly, Trick has been utilizing the Odin that he's had in pocket as well. Has been really nice to just zone back players when Narrate does go for that early peak, but this is something we've got to look out for into the remainder of this map, is Narrate playing with someone to help him get out of dodge if needed.
First Mad Lions ended up finding themselves with a deep gap back up towards that B site. Have reinforced it, to say the very least. It's going to be Bjor alongside his KJ Util on that site. The exit plan here for OR could still be cut off over in that area, but Narrate alongside Ainge. A big battle here over towards this A side. 1 minute left in the round. OR may be committing to this. Indeed they are. They open up the switch. And Ainge steps up big, and he backs on out, still looking for more, and it's Blackheart. Here comes another swing, and it's Blackheart again. Everyone from Mad getting theirs. Is now OR. Again, it's deja vu, no matter how you look at it. So many rounds, the last 7 rounds, basically. Going in a dominant fashion, one way or the other.
Yeah, they've been decisive rounds at that, but if you're going to
30
take
seconds
anything
left.
away from the past few rounds, to be honest, for OR at the very least, if you're not getting that opening engagement and first blood towards A, they never
Right.
win the site otherwise. The one time they had that success was off the back of the pick of Nere, and even then they pivoted in towards site. I don't even think that was a
10
plant
seconds left.
situation.
Down with.
Yeah, it almost looked like they were looking for a pick or two to try to lock in players into the A site, lock the players into a rotation back, and try to burst their way back into the B area. They seemed pretty hesitant of actually opening up switch and splitting into tree. Pretty much allowed a lot of space for Neri to be able to stretch his legs.
I mean, Trick did the conditioning with the Odin, right? He's been locking down trees, spraying
Yeah.
down through the walls. I wouldn't want to go in there either if I were them overall. But that conditioning is just, honestly, putting OR on the back foot even. It's already done its
no, for sure.
damage.
It's been working out, at least for Mad Lions, but it's not like OR. It's not like they haven't shown an impressive look so far, but that has been Mad Lions giving up these sites with relative ease. OR Esports now facing a bit of adversity here. It's a bit of a weird one, too. The KJ has their setup split between B and C, but there's nobody at all
Scout
watching
destroyed.
over B. It's a triple man swing into A-Long currently. There's multiple players here for OR, wary of this flank, but do they know about 3?
I don't know, and everyone's turned around at this point for the most part, but nice back off from Mad Lions, knowing that they've shown enough presence. The dark cover forced out from Pancakes as well. Just play behind the toxic screen here, play those crossfires if possible. And gonna still maintain control of Rubble here. Might be able to dodge around this Trailblazer. Not gonna see him, actually sees 2 others instead, and with the Seekers coming out as well, it's a signal to get that green light over towards the seaside. But you got Nanos, you got Trick.
Yup, Nanos.
30 seconds
Trick
left.
is here. The Nanos don't get blown up. Oh my
Double
goodness,
C.
yeah they do! Yeah they do! Meat grinder from Bjor. Everyone from OR just gets absolutely shredded. And now the shredding continues where Trick continues to bang out all 100 of his bullets.
Should we?
A flawless round coming out from Mad Lions again. But again, it's deja vu. Every time we've
30
mentioned a
seconds
win
left.
for Mad Lions, the word flawless is associated with it.
Oh, what a trap play. I love that actual free cam view of the C site. It was mollies everywhere. You didn't have any option as far as that goes. And now Mad Lions, they're comfortable knowing they go into the next half at the minimum tied up. They can only really go up from here as well. And now OR, it's playing that catch-up game. Head-to-head, 3-person push. Again, coming out from Mad Lions. Take that Rubble control early on. OR, no desire to contest it. Play far back. Know that there was that util dump impending. Does Bjor get checked? Nearly has an inkling. Yeah, just a spray through.
OR. I really don't know, however, how Mad Lions opt to play this aggressive look over on this A site, though. Yeah, we did end up seeing the push in the last round, but no real eyes on the play from OR. Mad Lions now. Element of surprise may be prominent. Blackheart is here. There's still Ainge, but it's the trade battle from OR. It goes their way. With a pick back over in the mid side earlier on in the round, Mad Lions have already been dwindled down to 2 players.
Yeah. I mean, got money for days on the side of Mad Lions, right? So still gonna attempt to at least whittle down the weapons on OR with how they're hurting. Nice relay bolt to zone Niliaz out, narrate. Just looking for the fast peak.
The round does have a bit of a chance here for Matt. How?
Remaining.
Oh my goodness!
No way.
How? Jonah 6 now has a molly to utilize. Does it go through the wall? Does it go through the wall? Trick is going down! There goes the kill from Narrate, though. An absolutely pivotal kill from Narrate. Almost the spray down goes his way. But Mad once again pull it back. But that is the most competitive round that we've seen. One from Mad Lions yet,
That's heartbreak for OR.
to say the least.
They had such an advantage into the post plant. It was all Narrate with that fast swing using the high gear, the slide out, and Trick manages to find something at the exact same
remaining.
time somehow.
Last player standing.
Man,
Goodness.
OR, that's gotta hurt.
Done in that round, but not out for the half. Rifles out. Still a decent buy going into the round. They actually want to. Oh my!
Oh,
They want to challenge the Viper's Pit over in C, but as this happens, Narrate does take down the Viper. Again, they hear the double, almost triple contact over towards A. Now they may need to act here over on C. With the Killjoy establishing their presence here, though. And with a nade clearing up the util. This is great anticipation here from OR, but Trick looking to shut it all down.
I've got
He wanted
your
to take
trail.
out the lockdown too, but this is a man advantage for Mad, not anymore.
no, it's a 3v3 situation. Narrate with the overdrive out as well, looking to push back in, beats even the Seekers, but it's not enough.
Showstopper, this is gonna hit. 1v3. OR chipping back a necessary round going into the second half. But is it over? Blackheart is done for. OR Esports evade the absolutely overwhelming
Switching
hold
sides.
that was set up there for Mad Lions. Great stuff.
Similar scoreline to what we saw last time. Really close to what we saw over on Pearl. Right now, OR, like you said, it's just been really decisive rounds overall. It's all about who's getting those initial engagements, finding those first picks. Unfortunate for Trick, he wasn't able to actually shut down that lockdown, got swarmed, but now onto a pistol here as we swap sides. OR Esports looking to lock down actually over on A, using Nilly to hold down the fort there. Trick, sorry, Jonah 6, enough with the poison orb, with those snake bites over towards C, especially with the early information that comes from that guiding light, to have that sort of stall potential. And you can already see OR shifting gears here on their defense. They're just chilling in spawn right now, looking to get those heals down with Nilly taking that poke damage. They sold the fake.
It works so perfectly. Jonah 6. Gonna get boxed in here. Stranded on an island. No one from OR is even contemplating a shift back over towards C. But Mad certainly is. You kidding me? They may be walking right into the jaws of the beast here over at A. But they opt to go back. Okay, cool.
Yeah, some regrouping, but Trick's doing a lot of faking here. Just doing so
Well,
much noise.
surely
This
they call
is
a rotation off of this.
what we see every single time, but there's still a snake bite for Jonah to try and delay and buy time for OR to rotate.
And that's exactly what he's setting up here. 30 seconds. There goes the
30 seconds
molly,
left.
but he actually
It misses.
still needs to back up. Didn't come up early enough. Mad Lions. Potentially a gift here.
Great CT control with the turret as well.
He's going to at least maintain the angle.
Trick's on
They
the
know
flank.
the danger, potentially, of a man over on the A side. They are going to back check. And Narrate has the angle. Oh, flying in is Narrate. He gets 2 kills. The second one barely on the head. Now Narrate skating through once again. Pancakes looking for an angle. Narrate just holding onto the player on site. Is he going for a jump peek? No, it's Pancakes actually with a burst right through the smoke. And he's going for yet another kill. Defuse is in, but it doesn't hit. The spray through the smoke. Pivotal from Trick there, and Ainge comes in for the save.
Nearly not even there in time as well, with the delay on that lurk, just finding the perfect timing, not expecting OR to move as quickly onto that site as they maybe anticipated. But it's really interesting, all things considered, because for the side of OR,
Last player standing.
it's been a tough battle here. Losing out on that pistol is really important to try and close this gap early on into that second half. Aggression coming out, taking a page out of that Mad Lions book from that defense. Investment goes in towards physics for those seekers as well. So pivotal for these retakes here on Lotus to find that extra information. But Trick, again, with that lurk, good for one, able to take down Pancakes. That's one of the controllers out. And Narrate pushes all the way up in towards CT as well. OR already chopped down to just 3 players.
One enemy remaining.
It's just going to continue to dwindle. Mad Lions again. Just needed this round to be routine. But OR. Of course, we're going to see that defensive look. Again, we needed to see a bit more success from them on their attacking side. Realistically, give them a big chance.
Team Ace.
But here we go.
One away from double digits here for Mad Lions. Sure, anti-eco for OR coming up, but Trick is getting a lot of value within these first 2 rounds alone just from the late lurk up towards the A side. Something that OR, now that they're on rifles, will have to keep in mind and up mind.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm seeing? There's another
I'm just
one.
seeing a dude. I'm just seeing a chiller
A chiller?
on my
Another-
screen.
Another
No, I
Viper
mean,
and Odin?
I choose to ignore it.
Okay,
Here,
that's fine.
I choose to ignore.
All good. Ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Yeah. Well, if you're mad, of course you would like to ignore this one. We're talking about the Odin, of course, in the hands of Jonah 6. But the Viper on the other side of the map. It's actually the one to do the damage early on, but this is going to be overwhelming. Once again, it's the KJ alongside the Viper, this time for OR. And it already works out early to shut these players out of sight. Even if they do reattempt, you still have the Nano Swarm. You still have the Viper in the back with the Odin.
Yeah, just trying to play some information drawing here. If you're narrate, actually considering going straight in. There's nanos though here on towards site.
Works out here for Physic. That was a big interaction that needed to go Mad Lions' way. Now C is looking a bit dangerous here. Jonah 6 has the point on site. Ainge is looking for a pick through the smoke. It's not gonna happen, and the Odin hasn't even been revealed yet. Now finally the spray goes out from Jonah, and Jonah ends up getting the big kill to shut down the plant and Pancakes with a 3K on the round. OR finally gets some footing on this half.
It's on their anti-eco, the bonus round of Mad Lions, but now we're back up to even weaponry across the board. And for the side of OR, all things considered, looking to stretch their economy, considering that they are the ones looking to try to tie things up here to 9. The light shield buy to just try and make as much as they can with what they have. Faster tempo this time around. Mad Lions haven't hit a site like this before. It's always been just Trick on the lurk.
Absolutely, it's mainly been over towards that B side too. This is very overwhelming from Mad Lions. Jonah 6 just could not catch up. In an instant, within 15 seconds of the round starting, Mad Lions are safely into A.
I really like the shift in gears off the back of the conditioning, and now Bjor's here to cut off the rotation.
It might be perfect. Indeed, it will. Physics stuck on Util. Bjor almost misses out. Narrate, you're not going to be able to do that for too long. That's a last patch. You should see that, sir. But Narrate still steps up to the plate, and he still goes big. 3 kills for Narrate on the round. Take advantage of the ropes while you can. 1v4 though for Nilias, and he needs to save. This is a massive look from Mad Lions. Again, like you said, a pace that we just haven't seen from them yet.
And it's a really nice swap. You know, you do the conditioning in those first 2 rounds, and then once full loadout is in play, then you gotta shift gears and take OR off guard in that kind of way. Neri also refreshing into that overdrive now, having that up into this round. And on Lotus, you've got 3 alt orbs to play with. So when I'm looking over towards Mad Lions, I would be looking to attempt to break the economy of OR into this round, guarantee it by trying to farm those orbs, get that lockdown in hand for people.
Yeah, really the type of round where you need a solid, safe win condition to try to evade any sort of surprise, any sort of shock. Purely because, again, we don't exactly know the full look here from OR. Plenty of adjustments have needed to be made, absolutely needed to be made from yesterday. Again, they fell completely to Turtle Troop yesterday, going 0-7 on their defensive side. And OR Esports, in terms of the, at least in terms of the early setup, in terms of the ideas that we ended up getting from Jonah 6 and Niliaz, at least it looks like they have a good idea of the combos that they want. But Mad Lions, again, if they continue this sort of change in pace, OR, they're also going to have to continue to innovate. And again, we don't really know how deep this strat book goes.
That's where narrate comes in play, right? Be able to completely shift gears in that kind of sense. You're either going really fast or they've been conditioning the slower plays, not really expecting narrate to pop out with that kind of full force and speed. Now it's back to what we saw in those first 3 rounds coming out from Mad Lions. Trick back onto that flank and lurk towards the A side. Aggression again out. Plays far back enough though that the guiding light doesn't actually catch him out, and he looks to no longer apply that pressure on. But the conditioning is still enough for OR to commit at least 1 to 2 bodies here to take control of Rubble and keep it in their hands.
So overwhelming too, because Pancakes gets the first contact, in goes the nade, in goes the swing from Zeldris.
Yeah.
So Mad Lions, how do they actually facilitate this here? Because we haven't seen this sort of slow re-hit to any sort of extremity from Mad Lions. Let's see how they get this info. The Trailblazer works out perfectly. Narrate through the wall. Yeah. Is able to get that one.
That was a huge pick coming off the back of the Trailblazer now. At the very least, though, still 4v5 situation. Physic does have the Seekers still online for this retake.
No
and
way!
This is a huge push coming out from Zeldris to get 2.
If Zeldris had still kept spraying for that third player, then maybe we could have seen the knocking down of the bowling pins. But instead, a huge push from Narrate has given his team a bit of an advantage. He doesn't shoot out the Seekers either. He's actually revealed both of his teammates. Oh my goodness, this is actually a chance. They know Niliaz has been isolated here by Mad. A close one, to say the very least. You start to sweat a little bit once you saw the Seekers heading in those directions.
I mean, you're already sweating if you're OR. It's an eco round to come up from them. Match point opportunity for Mad Lions. That last round was key for OR to keep their name in the game on Lotus just a little bit longer. I mean, we have seen how both these teams have been able to keep it close, keep it competitive, but we're not seeing that same look out of OR right now. It's mostly being led by Pancakes and some solo endeavors.
I'm out of here.
Towards that first half, at least.
Yeah.
Now OR. They do find at least a bit of pressure over towards that C side, but that's all it is, just a little bit. As Pancakes, he tried to be a bit cheeky about it, to say the least. Of course, he's going to get hurt off of that.
Another rotation.
It's just unfortunate to see OR essentially conceding at 12.
Yeah. Rotation back towards this A side, though, could be favorable for OR, considering Nilly's setup here in towards front site to completely cut that off. And sure, there is the Trailblazer going in to clear out tree, but nobody is actually following up there.
Bomb grenade out.
No charges left.
Jonah 6 trying to help out here, and it actually does work out to potentially delay the plant. Niliaz might get an angle onto Ainge, but Bjor has the counter for it too. Well thought out in terms of the setup here for the crossfire.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my goodness, Bjor actually does find Niliaz through the wall. Of course, Jonah 6 with only a sheriff. A dwindling chance as the seconds go by. 12-6. Mad Lions. They've made this set competitive. Now OR, again, we haven't exactly seen the best of looks from them here on this defensive side in the last 2 days at this point. They've only won a single round.
No, OR on Lotus have never really been able to kind of find their groove here on the defense. Mad doing really well to kind of just like run around them. You have setups that in theory should work, but it's not the same kind of combinations that you want to see coming out. You mostly just have Physic, Pancakes, and Zeldris playing for those trap plays who is actually pulling out a Hail Mary operator into this round on the race.
Zeldris almost makes it work, but it actually falls down completely. OR had a golden chance there, potentially.
No.
But now they give themselves a chance. They steal a chance. Niliaz through the smoke, 2 kills. And Jonah 6 is there to save the day, too.
You should run.
A 2v3, but this is still worth it here for Mad Lions. This is still very possible. Lockdown in alongside the Viper's Pit. Layers here to say the least. For OR, the lockdown does go down in the middle of sight, but a Nano Swarm right on top is perfect. A 2v2 still. Diffuse is not going down. Pure in the middle of the pit does get the 1, and Jonah 6 has no chance. Mad Lions hold firm to take a dominant map number 2.
There's a huge snowball round that came up for Mad Lions as well. All the ultimates like they could have asked for to work with, both in the post as well as on that execution. But overall, up mind, Mad Lions, this is what we've needed to see from them today. We saw a glimmer of it over on Pearl, but now finally shifting that momentum onto their side. And we're going to that third map that we both asked for it, I guess, in the pre-show.
Yeah, I mean, again, the play that we ended up seeing on the defensive side in this map simply just was not what we saw on Pearl. It was a lot more competitive, to say the least. OR Esports, again, getting shut down very early into these rounds. It's the same effect that I ended up talking about for OR in their second half. So again, most of these rounds being wrapped up within 20, 30 seconds of the round starting. And again, Mad Lions, they make it look light, but we still have one more to go. Map number 3 of Split to wrap up challengers, to wrap up relegation, excuse me. We still have more challengers this week, but our last spot to 2024 confirmed after the break.